The Scooby Gang are back. They must know that it's my 100th Miscellaneous Meander. Thanks, Scoob.
You're welcome.
I've been thinking about some of the landmarks you might have seen during the course of me doing these videos, such as the lonely tree there in the middle of the field, now of course surrounded by sheep. Not so lonely anymore. You're interested, aren't you? But you're not going in to say hello. What are you looking at? Oh, look at the marks on the back. She's been tupped. That's one that's going to be giving us some lambs in the spring. And then just up here, and this is my favourite oak tree with its multiple stems at the bottom, covered in winter moss at the moment. That green will disappear a little bit in the summer, and this will all be bluebells. This is a beautiful little bluebell glade. Fabulous. Oh, lots more blue marks here on this lot. Well done, ladies. Looking forward to seeing what you produce in a few months. And here we have what I call the ivy arch, although it's not actually an ivy arch. The ivy has actually made it happen, but what's at the core of this is, of course, a very pliable hazel tree that's been bent over by the weight of ivy, and as the hazel's carried on growing thicker and fatter, the ivy's going thicker and fatter with it. And on this side in particular, you can see all the knotwork and the twisting. It's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I love it. This is another hazel that got dragged down and bent over, but not quite enough to make a good arch unless you are very, very short in stature. But it's still growing, and there's still ivy on it, and the tree itself is still very healthy. Lots of new hazel rods coming off it. The last knockings of some beefsteak fungus there. And opposite is where there used to be another ivy arch, and unfortunately it fell down in the wind. And in fact, all that remains of the tree that was originally there is this pile of logs just over here. But I put a new one up using Willow, and it'll be interesting to see how well it does. It's going to be a long time before the tree is as thick as the original one was, though. More fungi. More brackets young turkey tails, I think. Right, if I just duck underneath all this holly that's in my way here. This is why you have a stick, you see, to push it back. Ah, there we go. We'll go up to this path and look at the path with the mysterious leaning trees. Another little landmark in the fact that all the trees are leaning the same way. I can't begin to explain to you why. There's no prevalence of wind coming in this direction, but all the trees along here, all the trees, they're all leaning to the right, or duck under this holly, or to the left if you're coming from the opposite direction, I suppose. And they're all really, really gnarly elder for the most part. These are all elders. They look dead, but they're not, even though they're covered in moss. You can see, look, there's new buds here. New buds coming off these shoots. These elders are actually very healthy. But they've all fallen over and leaning to the right, as you can see. And I have no explanation for why. We've definitely got to use all these twisty trees for a photo shoot in the near future. It's just too good an opportunity not to do, isn't it? This little area is all purple with rose bay willow herb come summer. In fact, these are all the dead remains of them now, all these tall plants, but that looks amazing in the summer. And just over in that side, this is a big bank of this big copse here is all made of brambles and blackthorn and elder, and it's very popular. There's always a family of foxes that are in there, and quite often deer. Seen a lot of roe deer in there, the occasional muntjac. So it's somewhere I come to in the summer and do a little bit of filming. If you look back through my videos, there are several videos that show me being lucky and catching deer and foxes in that area. That is a particularly vicious blackthorn. Look at that. That one's evil, isn't it? Good Lord. And this is just around the corner from my favourite blackthorn bush, which is where I get all my sloes every year if I'm doing sloe gin or sloe jam or whatever. Not quite as dangerous as this one. This is the ash walk. The majority of these trees are ash, and myself and local volunteers are doing our damnedest to keep a close eye on these to spot any signs of ash dieback, because we really don't want to lose these trees if we can help it. Ash dieback is a disease that came across from the Far East, and our native ashes have no defence at all. It's a fungal disease, it's carried by spores. It's predicted that 50% of all British ash trees will be lost. So it spreads very easily. So what we have to do is look out for any signs of a tree having it, and if necessary lock branches, if necessary take the tree down. But we're very lucky because we managed to keep most of our ashes so far. And this is the gnarly, I think it's dead, but it's a beautiful gnarly twisty tree. What I particularly like about it is that it's got this hole in it that you can actually look through. So you can get down here and you can look through there, a bit like a hold stone, like the Menontoll in Cornwall near where I grew up as a kid. And I really like that. This often has lots of fungi and mushrooms growing on it, and quite a few more grow down through that pathway as well. That's where I found my chicken of the woods this year. This is our lovely new wildlife pond, which was dug out earlier this year, or earlier last year I should say now, 2024. And it's blocked off at the moment because they've had put about 200 plugs in there, water plants, to try and aerate the water and make it healthy, because we want to get tadpoles in there in the spring and newts, and I can't wait. There's a very noisy red kite up there somewhere. Oh, I see him. There he is. You're going to be noisy again for me? Very distinctive call. He's not flying off though, which I thought you might. Ah, that's why. This little, well, it's not grand enough to call it a valley, is it? But this little area I'm walking down now, as you can probably see, is quite clearly the pathway of an ancient river. There used to be a chalk stream that ran down through here, but it was stopped back in the Victorian era to feed several farms. But saying that, when we get really intense flooding like we had last year, this flows again, and you can see all the debris that's caught on these old trees here as the water's flowed down through. But it's kind of nice to walk along this old riverbed. And this log, I have to say, at the moment they're all looking a bit poorly, but you can possibly just about see there the number of turkey tails fungus growing on this log. When this is in season, it is completely covered from one end to the other with turkey tails. I've never seen so many fungus on one log in my life. It's quite amazing. You can absolutely see how the river scours its way along here and follows the contours. Do I go around that one? Do I climb over it? I'm turning the camera off if I climb over. No one needs to see that degree of ungainliness. Still following the path of the river. It's scoured a bit deeper here. And there's an old stone here. I don't know what it was or what it once marked, but it's a big cornerstone, you know, chamfered edges. I have no idea what it once did. Bloody nearly went on the arse there. Thank God I got a stick on me. Kept me balanced. Ah, right. Moving on a bit. That looks like solid mud there, Harris. So I think that's probably not the way to go. Although he is testing it for me. So this is presumably where all the water sits up. So this is looking like it was a dew pond. It's looking nothing like leaves and mud. Nothing but leaves and mud. But we need to get over the other side of that. And up there where those 2 trees have fallen down, 3 trees have fallen down. Oh wow, these must have come down in Storm Dara. that we had not so long ago. I haven't actually seen this. I haven't been through here since then. Wow, that's 3 big trees. Oh, that's a big old tree, isn't it? Look at that. Look at the size of it. Blimey. Here's my boot for comparison. I've got a size 11 boot. That is a big tree. So that came down. And did that knock that one down? I don't know. But there's a second one down there and there's a third one here. And that's an even bigger one. My word, look at it. It's an absolute car crash of fallen down trees. How awful. Well, that's the base of the tree there, so I'm actually underneath the largest branches that came down. Holy heck. That's a hell of a mess. Mind you, at least it didn't hit any of the houses behind them. That's something, I suppose. Quite a lot more around there that could have come down as well. Wow. So there you have it, day 1 of this 100th Miscellaneous Meander, and a quick tour around some of the more prominent landmarks as you walk around these 44 acres of fields behind my house. During the COVID lockdowns, I got to know these fields extremely well because I would come out for a long walk every day with my dog, or dogs as I had at the time, and I kind of set myself some tasks because I didn't have any work at the time. But I wanted to keep my brain active. I wanted to do something, so I set out to learn every single tree. And what I mean by that is I already knew how to identify most of the trees. There was a few I didn't, particularly the evergreens. But I set out to not only learn all of those, but also to learn every single tree on these fields. So if someone said to me, oh, can you show me where there's a crack willow? I could take you to a crack willow. If someone wanted to know whether there was a rowan tree or a white beam, I could show you where it is. And I now have a really quite encyclopedic knowledge of these fields and its wildlife and the nature on it. So, and that was intensified even more last year, because last year, of course, I came to these fields every single day because I wanted to do that photographic project where I took a photograph every single day over these fields, so I could kind of show a whole year in a 10-minute video. As I said, I'm going to be travelling a little bit further afield this year and going to other places. But in the meantime, I can't not love this place. It's wonderful. And I'm so lucky to have it on my doorstep. And what else have I possibly got to say except here's to the next 100. Toodle pip.
If you've enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing. Or click on some of these links to look at some of the other videos on the channel. Or press the like button. Or leave a comment. It would be lovely to hear from you. Any combination of those 4 things would be wonderful. Thank you very much.